going to be explaining the different types of minerals that they offer and what they're for. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
So, to start, I'm curious for you, when did you realize that these minerals are more than just rocks?
Well, I started my journey with a crystal that was gifted to me, and this was about a year ago. And since that point of feeling what that specific crystal was doing for me, I came in here and just started buying crystals that I felt intuitively drawn to. And I realized in the process that they were working with me and helping me sort of progress forward in my path.
Mm.
And
So, you're wearing one right now. What is that?
this is Moldavite. This is definitely my favorite stone.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Why?
well, Moldavite, I find it to be very special. It's considered an evolutionary stone. It's a tektite, so it comes from outer space, and it's found in the Czech Republic. And the thing I like about it is that it's not like the other ones. I feel as soon as I put it on, I imprinted with this stone, and my personality and its personality sort of meshed. And with my other stones, I'll use them for a period of time and then typically give them away. But with these ones, I feel sort of protective over them, and I wear this one all the time now.
So it's kind of like your little buddy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
my friend.
Okay, cool. So you have a few other minerals that you brought out to specifically talk about, and so where should we start?
We can start with carnelian, because
Okay.
this is the one that was gifted to me. My boyfriend gave me this stone. It was my start, and I've met a few people who have said carnelian was their start with crystals, and it's for the sacral, and it ignites passion and desire, and it just ignites this motivation.
Oh, that
which
seems pretty strategic of your boyfriend.
Yeah. So it's a really good start
Okay.
to sort of pushing you forward on anything, any journey that you're starting, and it felt very appropriate for myself.
Okay.
And then I started using black obsidian.
Okay.
Black obsidian is a grounding protection stone, and it also can pull trauma out of your body. And I was sort of skeptical at first until I started wearing this chip bracelet. So she sells pretty inexpensive little chip bracelets here, and
So those are just chips that have been tumbled?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They're smooth?
Yeah, they're smooth. And I started wearing an obsidian chip bracelet all the time, and I noticed when I'm dreaming or throughout the day, I could feel the energy pooling down into that. And I mean, this one I feel very close to.
Yeah.
And during like the Venus retrograde, I made a necklace out of one of these stones, and I never took it off because I was getting worked by the retrograde,
Okay.
and it felt like it was helping me move that energy.
So if the obsidian is pooling things and it's absorbing trauma, then what do you do?
So there's different methods. I intuitively clear my crystals. So with the grounding stones, I like to put the energy into the earth. So I'll take it outside and I'll put it on the ground so that the energy can go back into the earth and be reabsorbed. And sometimes I'll use sage, sometimes it's intention, intention-based, clear them. But most of the time I try to use something else outside of myself to clear them.
So is there a way to tell that it needs to be cleaned, or is that just routine maintenance?
Well, with my Moldavite, it would kind of poke me. It became painful to wear it. With these ones, they get heavy They feel heavier, and it might not be physical, maybe it's me picking up on the energy of the stone, but if I'm using something often, I try to clear it as often as I can, just to keep it, you know, like maintaining our bodies. The more you take care of your body, the better it's gonna work, so that's how I feel about these stones as well.
Okay, cool. And what's the shiny one in the middle?
So this is a new favorite of mine. It
Okay.
is hematite. It's also a grounding stone. So the reason why I use a lot of grounding stones is when I started my process, my healing work, I was extremely ungrounded. And I thought, oh, this is just how I'm going to be now. And then my anxiety kicked in and my racing thoughts, and I just had a very overactive root chakra. And when I started using grounding stones and doing more grounding practices, that anxiety started to go away. And this one specifically, I had about 3 days of anxiety, and I put on a necklace that was made of this.
What is that?
This is the hematite.
Hematite, okay.
I put on a necklace that was made of hematite, not knowing what it was either. I didn't know that that's what it was. And my anxiety just shut off. All of it shut off. And then I passed out. Like, I just went to sleep. And I just needed to be grounded, like really grounded. And this stone, obsidian is great for that too, but this hematite, I've never felt anything like it. It just like pulled me straight back into my body, and I was able to rest.
So there's more than one stone that will do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there's various ones that will do grounding. So how do you decide which one for grounding or which one for third eye or?
I think it's personal preference, intuitively picking stones. When I come in here, I mean, I see a variety of techniques. Some people will touch every single stone and go through every paper with each description on them, and other people will be pulled to a specific stone, not really knowing what it's for. So, you know, at this point, I'm more drawn to the hematite than I am the obsidian. Just because, I mean, if you feel it, it's a heavy stone.
Yeah.
It's very grounding, and as I'm moving big energy, it's really important for me to be very grounded. So I think it's all personal preference and intuition, which one feels right.
Yeah, this is a really pretty one. It looks metallic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about the Septarian.
So the Septarian, again, it's a new favorite of mine. So on one side it's rough and kind of sparkly, and on the other it has these glorious patterns. I love the pattern on the back side of it. I was drawn to this about, I'd say, a month ago, and it was while I was working through a lot of my maternal issues, which is funny because this is the stone of Mother Earth. It's supposed to really connect you to the earth. It's another grounding stone.
Yeah.
And the moment I held it in my hands, I just felt this overwhelming, like, nurturing feeling towards the stone. And it just flooded my body, and I resisted buying it for a while. But
why do you think you resisted it?
It felt like I was already moving through that process, and that I didn't need the aid of the stone. That I was drawn to it because of the energy I was moving. And I normally give myself about a 2-week grace period to buy a stone, just because I work in a crystal shop, and I just, you know, hear them like, pick me, and I have to like shut it out and come back and see if I'm still drawn to that stone.
Yeah.
But this one was, not this one specifically, actually. I did end up buying it. It's in my room now. But it was in one of the boxes, the restock boxes, and the moment I opened the box, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I found it. I found the one I was supposed to have, and it complements the other stones, the bigger pieces that I have. And when I use it, I put my intention of connecting to the earth, and when I meditate with it, I can literally feel like the roots of the earth wrap up and around me, keep me grounded and in my body, especially while I'm meditating. So it's really good for having both. Yeah.
So you mentioned your home collection. I'm curious, is it Is it set up like this?
I take my work home with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have, the owner, she puts out cards with little descriptions on them, which is great when you're picking out the stone to see what its healing properties are. And she gives them to each customer. Each customer gets a little card to go with their stone. So I have laid mine out as if we're in the shop. As you can see, they're set up and they have the description, and so I have a little shelf, and they're all laid out in my own specific pattern with their, I think I just removed the descriptions off of there, so it's just the stones at this point, but I normally keep the description with it.
So what do you said you have a specific pattern for the stones?
Mm-hmm.
What's that for?
Again, it's just intuitively laying them out. When the owner and I talked about it, she was like, you listen to them and where they wanna be set down and which stone they wanna be set next to sort of complement the energy that they're bringing into my bedroom.
So, what two stones don't get along?
Well, something that I noticed is, I wouldn't say they don't get along, but something that I noticed is putting two stones next to each other that have the same qualities, that do the same thing, is not, it's not really appropriate. It's sort of like, it's almost like a little bit of a competition.
Okay.
So, even in here, in the shop, she tries not to put stones next to each other that are the same color or do the same thing. So the obsidian and the hematite would never be placed next to each other. It's very, it's varied as you look around the room. And so when I set up my room, I did the same thing. And it really keeps the energy flowing nicely. And especially, I like doing opposites. I'll put grounding stones on either side to ground whatever's happening in the center.
Okay.
Or clearing stones, yeah.
So this is also hematite, is that right?
Yeah, so this is a new piece. I have one at home, and again, it was like the septarian. It was kind of calling to me for a while, and I was resisting it, but it's a hematite mixed with amethyst, which is a really interesting combination because amethyst is a very intuitive stone. It connects you to your crown chakra, to your intuition. It's great for clearing. And then hematite is a very grounding stone. So it's an interesting combination of the two. And when I use it for meditation, I do use it for my crown chakra to clear and to clear my crown chakra and to clear the pathway down to my root chakra. So the moment I put it in my bedroom, it changed the entire energy of my room. It cleared my room without me having to intentionally do anything. It was really powerful to have this, especially of this size, because mine is about the same size, to have it in my room.
So the size of the rock or crystal is it's directly related to how powerful it is?
That's, with stones, I don't know if size matters. I was actually having this conversation with a friend this morning that it's like with a person, with our energy. I'm petite, but my energy can be really, really large. And I feel the same way about the stones that like with the hematite, this is a small stone, but it carries an extremely large energy to it.
Okay.
So it's personal preference. Some people believe that the bigger the stone, the more energy it's putting off, but I also think it's the person who's working with it. If you're more open, then you can feel more of the energy that's coming off of the stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have one last one here.
So this is just amethyst, not just amethyst. Amethyst is a great starter stone. It's actually what I started after the carnelian. I bought an amethyst pendant and I wore it constantly. I never cleared it because I didn't know any better. It ended up shattering. Like it broke itself to get off my body because I used it all the time. And putting my energy into it became too much for the stone and too much for myself. but it was to open and clear my connection to my intuition, to my higher self, to spirit, whatever you want to call it. And the clusters like this are really good to keep in your space, especially for meditation and clearing. It's a really good stone to start your healing process with.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you next was, for someone who's beginning a collection, you would recommend amethyst?
Yeah, amethyst, and then rose quartz is a really good one to start with. It promotes unconditional love, love of self, love of, the world. It's the love stone. And then clear quartz is also a really good one to start with. It's said that you can pair it with any of your other stones to amplify the powers of other stones.
Quartz.
Yeah, the clear quartz. And you can put intention into it, that you can say, all I have is clear quartz, but I want it to have the quality of maybe lapis lazuli, and put that in there, and it will sort of act as that stone. Maybe not as, powerful, but it can still carry some of the qualities.
Okay, so what's one more stone that you would recommend?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, black tourmaline is also one that I started with. I wore a black tourmaline necklace a lot, which is a grounding stone and protecting stone. And then jade. Jade was one that I really liked working with. It helps promote balance, and for myself, as I was working through balancing my hormones and my mood, I wore it all the time to help myself come back into balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure. There is a website for the shop. I will put the web address in